Hey there guys, welcome to another episode of Mike's DVDs and Blu-rays collection. I'm your host Mike, and thank you for stopping by today, because today we're going to talk about a movie that's been made many times. What is this, the fifth version with Lady Gaga and all that, 2019 maybe when that came out, 2018. But yeah, like the 70s, we had one in the 70s, the 50s, we had one kind of two versions in the 30s, and I believe there was something in the 20s dealing with A Star Is Born. But that's the movie we're talking about today, A Star Is Born. And like I mentioned, every couple of decades or so, we get another, interpretation of this, kind of a rags to riches story, kind of a, almost like a father, daughter, wife, husband, kind of a weird codependent type of relationship that they share with each other. But overall, fascinating performances in two of them. I'm going to talk about 2 years, two different movies today of A Star Is Born. The first one I'm going to talk about, I'm talking about these because I believe these are, I don't know, I think I've always kind of leaned towards the 50s version. And the problem was with the 37 version, it laid in public domain for so long, and there were so many copies out there that were just copies from 16 millimeters that's been duplicated a million times, or some kind of really ragged old television print from the 50s or 60s that's been just used up, and just really bad Technicolor, just really horrible. It looks like a movie that was so rough there was no buffing it out. There was no shining this movie up. This movie was down, So I just never missed with it. I mean, there's the other version in 1932. Was it What Price Hollywood, or it was something like that. I think when Howard Hawks or somebody was involved with that one. I'm not sure. But anyways, I'm going to talk about the 37 version. This is the version that this was the very first time that I watched this, which was really cool that they picked this movie and did a huge restoration on this. They just really took this thing from like a rusted out car from the bottom of the ocean and redone it, made it just the beautiful early Technicolor and stuff. I mean, it's great. It stars Janet Gaynor and Frederick March, and this is a new Warner Archive Blu-ray release. This came out, I want to say a couple months now, and it's a great release. Just bringing back this movie that was just thought of as nobody would ever really see the movie or hear the movie, and how really good it was, and and everything. But it's got some short films on here as the bonuses. It's got two different radio broadcasts of this story. But yeah, this is restored from the original Technicolor negatives. This was David O. Selznick, a big producer in the 30s. 2 years later, he would do Gone with the Wind, and that's what he's most remembered for, is Gone with the Wind. But he did a lot of really prestigious movies throughout the 30s, and almost all of them were Technicolor. And a lot of them are in the public domain, because I guess when his business folded, there was nobody to kind of come back and say, yep, we own those films and we'll take charge of them. They just slowly slipped away, But I'm really glad they rescued this movie, because this is really good, man. It just really, it's something about that Technicolor look. It's so, I mean, yeah, you could explain it in words, but it's like almost something I can't exactly explain. I mean, it really does. It takes you to the 30s. It really does. It makes you, puts you in this world for a minute. You know, it's a world that doesn't quite look real, you know, and it's, you know, and it's just this, it just really, it's really cool. Those early Technicolors like Dr. X, Mystery of the Wax Museum, man, there's a whole bunch of them. But anyways, A Star is Born, you know, a big color production by David O. Selznick. Janet Gaynor was just almost Hollywood royalty at that time. I mean, nowadays she's not thought of as in, it's like, oh yeah, she did this movie and that movie, but she pretty much was one of the first people to get an Oscar. She did a movie called Sunrise by a German director named F.W. Murnau, who, you know, made Nosferatu and stuff like that. But he came over here and he made a couple of movies and made them with her and everything, and they were Oscar winners and everything and stuff like that. And then of course Frederick March was one of the leading actors of the 30s. I mean, he had done his big movie to that date was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from 1931, which was Ruben Mabaloux, what was his name? Ruben Mamoulian was the director on that. But anyways, I mean, Star is Born, you know, Frederick March's character he's a Hollywood actor, very famous. He's probably been around the business for like 10 years or so. He's been around long enough to kind of starting to wear out his welcome with people. You know, they're starting to kind of get tired of him. He's not the same guy he was when they first got discovered and stuff, but you know, he's one of those tortured actors. You know, he's suddenly doesn't believe in himself anymore. He drinks a lot, and he just really almost burns bridges, you know, as quick as he can. But anyways, he runs into Janet Gaynor, who you know, she's always wanted to sing and be an actress, and her family were just, the scenes with her family, they were just like so mean to her. It was just like, I'm like, you know, the grandma, I think it was the grandma or the aunt, her aunt in the movie. It's a man. She was mean, but you know, she wanted to be an actress. She went to Hollywood, and of course she gets discovered. You know, it takes a minute or so. You know, gets discovered, so she becomes the top star with a heart of gold, basically. And then she, you know, as she rises, you know, as her star is born, you know, his is fading. So, you know, and even the way he goes out in the movie, how he leaves this movie, he just kind of fades out, you know. So it's really cool. It's just one of those great movies to come back to, just to come back to the colors and the feelings, and you know, the actors are really, you know, pretty genuine. I mean, there's some great supporting actors that are good standouts. They don't list everybody here, but it's also got Adolphe Menjou, May Robson, Andy Devine, Lionel Standler, which you know, they're faces that you definitely remember. It was directed by William Wellman. I almost forgot to mention that. And you know, I'm a budding William Wellman fan. You know, I'm curious about his work because he did a lot of great movies, especially in the 30s and everything. And it's like I've kind of skimmed through his work a couple times. You know, everything he's made, and I just never remember that he made Star is Born in 1937. I never thought that. I think I saw something about this. I don't know if it was an older documentary or something, and they talked about something, but I wish they would have done something about the restoration on here. maybe a little bit of backstory, because there's a lot of cool people. I mean, people like Andy Devine and Lionel Standler, you know, they were pretty big supporting actors and everything. So there you go, Star is Born, 1937. This just came out. You can get it for a decent price on Amazon right now. And next up, this is a movie that's been out for a while. This is the 1954 version of A Star is Born with Judy Garland and James Mason, which this was the first time I ever saw this story and all the different versions and stuff. And they got this movie in, I think, 1981, and they did a complete restoration of it. There was a lot of stuff that was cut out that they recreated with photos, you know, like maybe some outtake songs that they don't have video for, so they just, you know, so they made this really cool early restoration of you know, a big movie with, you know, what do you call it, intermission, and, you know, a big road show type of thing going on. But yeah, great movie. Warner Brothers made this. Was it George Cukor was the director? Yeah. But yeah, music by, you know, screenplay by Moss Hart. But anyways, let's talk about this disc for a second. This is a one of the many cool Warner Brother digibooks. There's a whole bunch of these. They came out some years ago, and they put out a digibook to a whole bunch of different movies, and they're really cool for, you know, a Warner Brothers deal, you know, and, you know, a lot of photos, big story in here. You got the DVD. It's got special features on there, and then you got the Blu-ray that has the feature on there. But yeah, you get 4 hours of special features on that disc. I mean, it's really cool to go into, you know, talking about the restoration and how hard it was, and they really saved it at the last minute, because the 1950s, you know, some of the film processes they were using at that time, like this would have been Warner color, and some of those were kind of volatile color processes. They didn't do well later on after being stored for so long. You know, maybe Technicolor holds up better or something. But anyways, they had a big fading problem with this. Faded really bad and just didn't look right. So that, you know, they worked on it. Film historian Ronald Haver was one of the guys that were in charge. Actually, it's 83 restoration, not 81. But anyways, you know, and they made a really cool movie here. I mean, or release. This is really cool. I got a few of these digibooks, and found this one on eBay at a really good price. Wasn't very much. There is another, just a standard Blu-ray disc, which is basically the same thing, but I didn't really like the artwork on that, so I just, yeah, I'm gonna get the digibook, because, you know, look at it, it's pretty cool. So anyways, the 54 version of A Star is Born, Judy Garland, James Mason, great cast of supporting actors. You got Charles Bickford, Jack Carson's really good. Tom Noonan is really good. But yeah, this is, you know, the music. It's got music by Ira Gershwin. You know, screenplay by Moss Hart. You know, directed by George Cukor. So this is Hollywood. This was big time. This was big time. And you know, at this time, you know, Judy Garland was starting to have problems. You know, she was starting to do this too much or do that too much. She was starting to get noticed by Hollywood. They were starting to say, yeah, she's kind of a wild card, you know. But I think, you know, I'm glad that she made this when she did, before she kind of got too far over here, because, I mean, I think it shows the best of Judy Garland. You know, you got the voice from Wizard of Oz, still, you got the good voice, and then you got, you know, her, you know, Judy Garland. I mean, the eyes, the, you know, it's all there. It doesn't look like an older, sicker, weaker Judy Garland, but, you know, still, she's still youthful and stuff, because she really takes a nosedive, you know, and stuff, you know, later on in her personal life, off and on, but anyways, this is really good. It's a lot longer than the 1937 version. This one is 176 minutes, so we're talking about it's about 10 minutes short of 3 hours or so, something like that. But yeah, it's a good movie. I mean, and being at 3 hours, you would think, yeah, that might be excruciating maybe, but it's the right blend of music and, you know, the drama and the technical skill of the, you know, it's really big widescreen production. You know, Warner Brothers was really good at this time. You know, the next year they would do Rebel Without a Cause, another great widescreen movie. And but yeah, it's kind of a small epic. I mean, the music, it doesn't seem like, it's not a musical that's just like bouncing off the stage. We're at the circus or something. You know, this is kind of darker lyrics, more, you know, kind of nightclub singer, kind of, you know, there's some happy songs, but then there's the, you know, those songs. But yeah, it's a good balance, so it doesn't wear you out too fast after being a, you know, a 3-hour movie. So anyways, A Star Is Born is good. I really like this version, I guess because this is the first version I ever saw. I guess I just like the bigness of this movie. It's just this big epic, and, you know, a lot of times I forget it's a musical. You know, I just think of it as more of an epic Hollywood movie, you know, about Hollywood. But no, it's really cool, and highly recommend this. If you can find this really interesting digibook, I think it's really cool. It's one of the best ones. I mean, it really goes in depth with the other actors in the movie, and really cool. God, when did this came out? In 2010. So yeah, they did. I think they did these for a couple years, because I got a few different ones. But I just think that's really nice. If you're gonna get, you know, if you've never bought the movie before and this is your only version, go for this one. You know. But anyways, so there you go. That's the 54 version, and then we talked about the 37 version, which just came out. Warner Archive Blu-ray. This is a beautiful release. Great job. I mean, Warner Brothers is pulling out. They're surprising us again, yet for another year. I mean, a couple years ago, you know, it was the rumor that they were closing up shop. You know, and they keep coming out with these good things, so it's like they're torturing us a little bit, you know. But yeah, like, you know, what's the other one? They've come out some really good restorations. There's another one, I can't think of the name of it. But anyways, really cool. They're doing some good releases and stuff, and this is one that you need on your shelf. Yeah, this is good. So there you go, guys. I didn't want to go into this. These are the only A Star Is Born that I have, are these two. I don't know any of the other versions. I haven't seen the 76 version, by the way. But anyways, there you go. These are some ones to pick up. So there you go, guys. If you got comments, let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this episode, give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And check out my other episodes on my channel. I've got a whole bunch of movie-related things. So until next time, guys, I'm Mike. Take it easy out there. Watch a good movie, and I will see you later.